The world of modeling is often viewed as glamorous, an enviable job that is next to impossible to attain. In reality, models face harsh demands each day in the overly competitive fashion industry. Kendall Jenner is at the top of her game, but that doesn't come without high expectations and, of course, a ton of controversy, especially being related to the Kardashians. It seems that Fashion Week has got the best of Kendall, and some fellow models aren't too happy about her privileged option to back out of some of the most coveted runway shows of the season. Let's see the scandals and secrets Kendall faced during the busy time of Fashion Week. Panic attacks. Kendall Jenner has been very open about her mental health issues, and during Fashion Week, it seems that anxiety, along with panic attacks, seem to rear their heads. During Fashion Week, it is so busy for models and so stressful that it's no surprise that Kendall is feeling this strongly. In 2018, on an episode of Keeping Up With The Kardashians, Kendall was seen FaceTiming with her mom, Kris Jenner, during a panic attack on a plane. She said she wanted to get off the plane. Kendall said that everyone tells her she's fine, but that she really doesn't feel that way. Kris Jenner said on the show that during Fashion Week, Kendall has so much going on that she gets herself worked up. Kris continued by explaining, so when she's traveling a lot and Milan's coming up and trying to juggle it all, it's overwhelming. So is it Kendall's workload that's putting all this pressure on the model? Kendall has been so open about her anxiety and just needing some time to relax. Some fellow models wonder if maybe Kendall isn't used to the workload. After a comment that Kendall made in 2018 about the industry and her colleagues, it sparked a whole controversy over Kendall's privileged position. Lucrative fame. Now, nothing against Kendall, but she has had the luxury to grow up in a very famous and wealthy family. From growing up on the popular reality show Keeping Up With The Kardashians to becoming the highest paid model for 2 years running, she's worked hard for where she is. The ritzy Calabasas bubble that she grew up in, however, didn't afford Kendall too many financial hard times, something that many aspiring and even working models do face on the daily. Kendall practically had a built-in salary from the reality show at a very young age. This means that for Kendall, turning down runway shows and taking large breaks between fashion weeks to relax is a luxury. Many models aren't afforded the time or financial means to do so. In 2018, Kendall spoke to Love magazine and detailed her frustrations about the fashion industry. It seemed that she was seeking sympathy, but instead, she faced a whole heap of backlash from her fellow models. It appeared that Kendall was devaluing the work her colleagues had to put in. Because let's be real, Kendall never struggled on the same level some of the other girls have. Kendall's lucrative fame has afforded her the luxury to take time off during Fashion Week. The backlash. All that to say, it doesn't mean that Kendall doesn't work as hard as the others. However, her comment does make it clear that she isn't entirely aware of her fellow models' experiences. We mean, not every model rolls up to a fashion show in a black SUV with bodyguards. To Love magazine, Kendall said, "Since the beginning, we've been super selective about what shows I would do. I was never one of those girls who would do like 30 shows a season or whatever those girls do. More power to them." The comment was received so poorly because many models don't have the luxury of turning down shows. And on top of that, many girls do almost 80 shows per season, not 30. A respected model by the name of Madison Ritland, who's walked for such huge brands as Chanel, Calvin Klein, and Dolce & Gabbana, commented on Jenner's words. Ritland said that not everyone is a social media titan or reality TV royalty. Ritland went on to say that she got very defensive of the other models that worked so hard when Kendall used the term "those girls." She continued that she doesn't want to judge Kendall, but that the comment shows she doesn't have much solidarity with other models, which, if Jenner doesn't really feel that way, can be a hard thing to try to explain your way out of. Controversies. Sure, maybe Kendall is experiencing a different side of the industry, which makes complete sense for where she's coming from. That doesn't mean her anxiety isn't real. She needs to take time for her health, and knowing when to take a break is a greatly admirable quality. Her rep did do damage control via page 6, saying that the point was that it's their path. She admired their hard work and dedication. It's an accomplishment. Still, unfortunately, that comment segregated Kendall even more, making things even more difficult for her. She was viewed in a negative light for her comment, which wasn't meant to be as offensive as people took it. But this wasn't the only controversy that Jenner has faced in the past years. There was also the ballet spread in Vogue, for which she was condemned for not allowing a real ballet dancer to pose. Then there was the dreaded Pepsi ad that went viral against Kendall and was pulled from the air. In both situations, Kendall faced massive controversy over something she couldn't control because she has such a public persona. The Pepsi ad was seen as trivializing demonstrations aimed at social justice, mainly the Black Lives Matter movement. They were trying to make an ad about unity and peace, but they missed the mark, and Kendall took the blame. High pressure. With all these things building up, from the backlash to the controversies, it's pretty obvious why Kendall needed to take a step back, and we don't blame the model one bit. The pressure on her is so high, not only during Fashion Week, but the entire year. In 2017, Kendall took the highest-paid model crown from the supermodel Gisele Bündchen. Gisele had held that title since 2002, all the way to 2017, when Kendall surpassed her by making $22 million in 1 year. Kendall held on to that title in 2018, when she made $22.5 million during the year at only 23 years old. Kendall beat out everyone, even Karlie Kloss, who made the most in her career in 2018 with $13 million. Other highest-paid models were Chrissy Teigen and Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, who tied for third place at $13.5 million. Basically, Kendall is at the top of her game, modeling for Adidas, Estee Lauder, Swarovski, and many more top-notch brands. But with that comes a whole lot of pressure to be the best. IMG Models president Ivan Bart says that social media is the magazine of your life, and that models need to use that to their advantage. Kendall has definitely checked that box off. Shows for granted. With all this success and such massive contracts, it's no wonder that Kendall is a coveted model. She is wanted for so many runway shows that models would drool over getting. Kendall, however, is incredibly selective. She's worked herself into having the position to say no to certain shows. She doesn't need to do 80 per season, and she knows that. Some models feel that she takes her position for granted. However, as many may view it as taking it for granted, it's actually all about her mental health. She is one of the most in-demand models, and turning down shows isn't good for her career. Kendall is making a hard choice by saying no, both personally and professionally. Kendall spoke to Harper's Bazaar about her personal struggles. She was almost completely absent from the New York Fashion Week runways in fall 2018. Instead, Jenner decided to sit in the front row of a bunch of the shows. She sat with the likes of Kate Moss and Priyanka Chopra to enjoy the catwalks. She wasn't strutting. She told Harper's Bazaar that she does love seeing the collection when they're brand new, and that she does love the craziness of it all. Her self-imposed break was to help relax and deal with her anxiety, a mature decision we give her kudos for. Crazy hours. With the combination of her comment in Love magazine that blew up along with all her other work, it was becoming too much. Kendall described it as having freakouts. She would try not to, but she'd end up freaking out. She said to Harper's Bazaar, "The whole combination was very overwhelming, and I started to freak out a little bit and needed to take a step back." The comment that received so much backlash was taken out of context, as Kendall said that at the time, she wasn't only walking the catwalks, but she was also doing multiple campaigns and, quote, a million jobs. Either way, the crazy hours were becoming too much. Still, Kendall felt the best thing she could do was to take a break. The only show she appeared in during New York Fashion Week in September 2018 was Longchamp's first ever runway show. Kendall took to Twitter to apologize for the Love magazine comment, ending her tweet with, "The respect that I have for my peers is immeasurable." Kendall knows the hours models put in, especially during Fashion Week, which is why she needed to opt out. She didn't want to face a panic attack or, as she puts it, a freak out when she's supposed to be working. Well, Kendall, we say more power to ya. The hustle and the travel. There is no time to even breathe during Fashion Week. Well, almost. Models work for a month straight in 4 different cities, meaning 4 different time zones. They barely get time for a meal or a break. The travel, the hustle, the hours, it's all way too much for anyone. Fashion Week is so challenging for models that Kendall decided to put her health in the front seat, a decision we are all for. In July 2016, the New York Times released an article called "The Curious Case of the Fainting Models." The article explains that fainting happens, quote, "with some regularity at fashion shows. The problem is that it shouldn't. They are expected to work hard, stand for long hours without moving, and all without many breaks." At Kanye West's Yeezy show in September 2016, an article read, "Models drop like flies. They were to stand outside in the heat for his show. Obviously, models went down." One person tweeted that an audience member even brought one of the girls water. So, with these examples of the craziness of Fashion Week, can we blame Jenner? Or any other model, for that matter, who backs out and says no? No, we definitely can't. The hours, the hustle, the travel. Is it really worth it? Kendall loves her job, but she has been outspoken about choosing the shows she does, and it's clearly for a reason. Kardashian Jenner popularity. Kendall's famous family has made her a household name, even before she became one of the top supermodels in the world. But it also puts a certain amount of distance between her and some of her colleagues. She is one of the Kardashian Jenners, after all. She requires bodyguards and security. This has nothing to do with how each model works, but it definitely impacts how people see her. With the controversies we already mentioned, it's not hard to understand why Kendall might want a break from the world in which she thrives. Her year was filled with work, but unfortunately, also a lot of gossip. As revealed on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Jenner's anxiety can get the better of her. Kris defended her daughter on the reality show, saying that Kendall is overwhelmed and has a lot on her plate. Many models, if they turn down shows, get blacklisted and punished. For Kendall, she can do so, and know that she's still gonna have a career that will flourish. A luxury she hopefully appreciates that not all models are afforded. Her family name and reality TV history has definitely gotten her some great things. But do you think she's using her family name for the right reasons? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. High expectations. To top off the crazy year that Kendall has had, she's also expected, in some way, to make changes on behalf of others. Or at least that is what some people are alluding to. With her name and her clout, some models believe she's in a position to leverage her fame and voice for others. In a statement to the Daily Beast, Sarah Ziff, who's the executive director of the Model Alliance, voices her opinion on Kendall's position. Ziff says that Jenner has the opportunity to leverage her visibility and clout to help champion efforts to ensure that everyone enjoys fair working conditions in fashion, not just the lucky 1% of models at the top. Kendall, of course, is a brand in herself. None of the controversy or her choice to take time off should take away from the work Kendall's put into her own career. Her family name could have easily negatively impacted her career, but instead, she made it into an asset. Ziff, however, also identifies with Jenner, saying that like her, she also experienced a burnout during Fashion Week, doing upwards of 5 shows a day, fittings running through the night, and on, all between 4 cities in the span of a month. Ziff continued to explain that models are under constant scrutiny and have no time for a real meal or break. It's no wonder that in such an arduous industry, masked by glamour, that Kendall is in much need of time off. Maybe she'll even inspire other models to take a stand and a break for not only their mental health, but hopefully to influence the industry to change for the better. Do you think Kendall made the right decision being selective about Fashion Week? Do you think she takes her position as a model for granted? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you love Kendall as much as we do. Subscribe to TheTalko, and we'll see you all next time.